Imagine stepping up to a hotel front desk um, in a foreign country. Your heart's pounding and like your mind just goes totally blank.
Yeah, you forget every single phrase you actually studied.
Exactly. So today's deep dive looks at a design document that it essentially engineers that exact fear right out of the human brain.
It really does. It's fascinating.
Welcome to the deep dive, by the way. We're looking at this really interesting piece of instructional architecture. It was originally written for Persian speakers learning English, and it translates to embedded writing.
Right. Embedded writing.
And it outlines these incredibly strict rules for creating an audio module to teach just a simple hotel check-in. So our mission today is to kind of unpack the specific, pedagogical and psychological strategies this document uses for absolute beginners.
And what's fascinating here is, well, before this document even touches on vocabulary or grammar, it focuses entirely on the learner's limbic system.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it treats the module not just as a lesson, but almost like a psychological intervention.
Because, I mean, if a learner is stressed out, their affective filter goes up,
Right.
right? And no new information is getting in.
Exactly.
So the primary goal isn't just learning words, it's making you, the listener, feel relaxed and independent without fear. It's kind of like installing linguistic training wheels. Like, before you can pedal, you have to trust you aren't going to fall.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And to do that, the document actually institutes this really strict rule forbidding the module's speakers from using their formal name.
Wait, really? No names at all?
None. It's a brilliant piece of subtraction. The instructions mandate this really warm, highly encouraging tone where the hosts just refer to each other with casual terms like my friend or partner.
Oh, so by removing formal names, you're like stripping away that traditional teacher-student dynamic.
Right. The listener no longer feels like they're being evaluated by an authority figure. Instead, they're immersed in this safe, intimate environment, just hanging out with two supportive peers.
Yeah, and that psychological safety net, it isn't just about making them feel warm and fuzzy. It's an actual biological prerequisite.
Oh, totally.
By actively lowering that baseline anxiety, the brain's defense mechanisms sort of stand down, which makes room for the actual processing of new information.
Because once that low anxiety environment is established, the document enforces some really intense mechanical constraints.
Right, like demanding extremely slow speech, deliberate pauses, and the absolute removal of all metaphors, idioms, and complex hospitality terms.
It is heavily managing cognitive load.
It's essentially treating the beginner's brain like a delicate circuit board. If you throw too much current at it, idioms, slang, rapid native speech, this system just shorts out. But I do want to push back on one element here.
Sure.
Does stripping away all natural idioms and, forcing heavy repetition, doesn't that make the conversation sound completely robotic rather than helpful? Like, nobody actually talks like that in the real world.
Well, you're hitting on the core tension between fluency and foundation. We have to remember we're dealing with the A1 level here.
Right, absolute beginners.
Exactly. In language learning frameworks, A1 means someone with zero prior exposure. So for an A1 brain, hearing a new language is just this wall of undifferentiated noise.
So the robotic delivery acts as like an acoustic scalpel, carving that noise into distinguishable pieces.
That isolation is the point, yeah. The method strips away everything to heavily repeat basic survival phrases like, I have a reservation, or can I
Yes.
have my key, please? It prioritizes functional automaticity over conversational elegance. Because at this stage, elegance is actually the enemy of comprehension.
Oh, that makes sense. Neurologically, a beginner's working memory is totally overwhelmed just trying to decode basic phonetic sounds.
Right. So if the module included a totally natural phrase like, let's get you checked in, instead of just, I have a reservation.
The learner's brain gets stuck trying to decode the contraction.
Uh,
Let's end the phrasal verb get checked in, and then they just lose the core functional vocabulary entirely.
That is cognitive overload in action. The brain spends all its cognitive resources trying to solve a grammatical puzzle instead of anchoring the core survival phrase.
Wow.
But the heavy repetition of a single stripped-down phrase forces that neural pathway to solidify. Eventually, the phrase just fires automatically without conscious translation.
Functional automaticity.
Precisely. The learner can ask for their key without having to consciously conjugate a verb in their head. And those long pauses the document demands, they aren't dead air.
They're necessary processing time, right?
Yes, the time required for the synapses to actually map the meaning to the sound.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? It shows us that creating effective beginner language tools is it's ultimately an exercise in extreme subtraction.
Yeah, it's about deliberately curating reality so the learner can actually digest it.
Right. Actively removing anything and everything that distracts from core survival phrases, starting with the psychological barriers and moving straight through to the mechanical ones.
Prioritizing pure comprehension over natural flair.
Which leaves me with this thought, if stripping away idioms, complex vocabulary, and even the speaker's names creates the perfect environment for absolute understanding,
Yeah.
how much of our everyday native language communication is actually just unnecessary filler getting in the way of pure connection?